Rooted in tradition, cultivating organic heritage through community gardening in an age where fast food culture dominates and soil health is often overlooked, the movement toward organic heritage gardening offers a powerful antidote. These community-driven green spaces do far more than grow vegetables. They preserve ancestral knowledge, foster intergenerational connections, and create living archives of ecological wisdom. The Ambrosia Foundation's recent studies reveal a compelling truth. When communities tend to organically grown gardens, they become stronger socially and culturally. People share heirloom seeds passed down for generations, exchange recipes tied to specific plants, and revive farming methods once thought lost. This intentional cultivation forms what we call organic heritage, a dynamic fusion of tradition and sustainability. The origins and evolution of organic heritage gardening long before industrial agriculture reshaped our relationship with the land. Indigenous cultures across the world practiced forms of organic cultivation deeply connected to their environment. In Mesoamerica, Mayan farmers developed complex terracing systems to sustain maize crops without depleting soil nutrients. Native American tribes used companion planting techniques, strategically pairing beans with corn and squash to form symbiotic growth patterns. These ancient practices laid the foundation for modern organic heritage movements. As European settlers arrived in North America, they adapted indigenous agricultural knowledge while preserving elements of their own peasant farming traditions. Over time, the tension between commercial farming interests and small-scale sustainable practices grew sharper with each technological advancement in agribusiness. Mesoamerican terracing created steep mountainous regions fertile enough to support staple crops like maize, demonstrating early understanding of water conservation and soil preservation. Companion planting traditions. Techniques from various continents showed how diverse plant species can mutually benefit each other's growth while deterring pests. Naturally, the 20th century saw a pivotal shift with the rise of chemical fertilizers and synthetic pesticides. While these innovations boosted crop yields dramatically, they came at great cost to human health, biodiversity, and long-term soil fertility. Environmental scientists began sounding alarms about declining bee populations and contaminated groundwater in areas reliant on conventional farming practices. Amidst this crisis emerged a countercultural movement advocating for return to natural methods. Early environmentalists and nutrition experts highlighted the connection between pesticide residues in food and rising rates of chronic disease. Their warnings planted the first seeds of today's vibrant organic heritage initiatives worldwide. Cultivating cultural identity through living soil in neighborhoods around the globe, community gardeners are rediscovering their roots through hands-on interaction with the earth. These urban green spaces function as more than just sources of fresh produce. They become incubators for cultural preservation and innovation alike. A recent survey by the Ambrosia Foundation found that over 86% of participants in organic heritage programs reported feeling closer to their cultural identities after joining. This phenomenon stems from the intimate connection between people and the plants they nurture. Specific varieties chosen for cultivation often have deep historical ties to immigrant families seeking to maintain culinary traditions. Tangible benefits across demographics. Data collected over 5 years reveals fascinating patterns among different groups participating in these projects. Elderly residents frequently bring invaluable knowledge about traditional seed-saving techniques, while young children develop lifelong appreciation for nature through sensory learning experiences in soil-based play. Pregnant women taking part in neighborhood composting workshops show improved mental wellness indicators compared to those who don't engage in similar activities. Meanwhile, college students volunteering at community farms gain critical insight into regenerative agriculture principles that shape future career choices in environmental science fields. Fostering social cohesion through shared green spaces. When neighbors collaborate on cultivating a common plot of land, something magical happens. The boundaries created by modern lifestyles begin dissolving. A single communal harvest party can forge bonds stronger than any algorithm-driven social media connection ever could. Anthropological research indicates that group gardening increases trust levels within communities by up to 40%. This measurable impact occurs because of repeated interactions around shared goals, mutual accountability for crops, and collective problem-solving during challenges like pest infestations or unexpected weather events. The Ambrosia Foundation has documented numerous instances where formerly disconnected individuals became close friends through routine watering schedules and joint planting decisions. Such relationships transcend mere convenience. They build genuine emotional connections rooted in purposeful collaboration. Beyond personal friendships, these spaces naturally give rise to broader networks of support. Senior citizens mentoring new parents on child-friendly edible plants, immigrants teaching language skills during work sessions. All these micro-interactions weave together a rich tapestry of interpersonal relationships uniquely nurtured by the act of tending communal gardens. Eco-conscious practices preserving biodiversity. Gardens dedicated to organic heritage are vital sanctuaries for endangered plant species and pollinator populations. By consciously choosing native flowers alongside fruit trees, caretakers help restore ecosystems that were severely damaged by monoculture farming trends. Each carefully cultivated bed contributes to the greater goal of biodiversity restoration. For example, creating habitats that attract bees requires careful selection of flowering plants that bloom sequentially throughout the seasons. Similarly, supporting beneficial insects involves leaving designated undisturbed zones where ladybugs and lacewings can establish colonies. Soil regeneration efforts undertaken in these gardens provide tangible ecological benefits. Composting kitchen scraps returns essential nutrients to the ground while reducing landfill waste. Cover cropping between planting seasons prevents erosion and enriches microbial life underground, a crucial aspect of long-term land stewardship. Some pioneering garden collectives go even further by implementing rainwater harvesting systems and solar-powered irrigation solutions. These forward-thinking approaches ensure that biodiversity conservation doesn't come at the expense of resource efficiency. Nourishing bodies and minds with naturally grown foods. The nutritional value of homegrown produce cannot be overstated. Fresh herbs picked right before cooking retain significantly more vitamin C content than supermarket alternatives stored for weeks in transport. Vegetables harvested at peak ripeness contain optimal nutrient profiles that diminish rapidly after being detached from the plant. Participating in the entire food cycle, from seed selection to final meal preparation, creates profound awareness about dietary choices. Studies show that individuals who regularly consume self-cultivated fruits and vegetables exhibit better eating habits overall, including increased consumption of whole foods and reduced dependency on processed products. Community gardens also offer a platform for sharing specialized knowledge about regional cuisine. Culinary traditions evolve based on available ingredients, leading to innovative adaptations that honor cultural origins while embracing contemporary tastes. This process fosters inclusivity as diverse members contribute their family recipes to collective recipe exchanges. Moreover, physical activity associated with regular garden maintenance provides excellent preventative healthcare. From bending to pick ripe tomatoes to carrying buckets of water across plots, every action translates into meaningful exercise that promotes cardiovascular health and muscle strength. Sustainable agriculture as intergenerational learning. In many organic heritage gardens, the most valuable lessons pass seamlessly between generations. Elders teach fundamental soil preparation techniques perfected through decades of observation. Youth learn to identify edible wild plants thriving along garden edges, an inheritance of botanical knowledge often forgotten in schools focused primarily on abstract curricula. This reciprocal knowledge transfer creates continuity rather than generational gaps. Grandparents might demonstrate how to construct shade structures using bamboo poles, while grandchildren introduce mobile phone apps that track seasonal temperature fluctuations affecting germination rates. Such blending of old-world expertise with digital tools ensures resilience against climate change uncertainties. The Ambrosia Foundation has tracked how exposure to hands-on agricultural education reduces youth disengagement from STEM subjects. When math skills are applied to measuring planting distances or calculating yield projections, abstract equations suddenly acquire real-world relevance. Biology becomes vivid as students observe pollination processes unfolding firsthand in the garden beds they've helped prepare. Furthermore, language acquisition flourishes in multilingual garden environments. Immigrant elders offering instructions in their mother tongues pair with younger volunteers translating key terms into dominant languages. This immersion-style learning transforms vocabulary retention into memorable lived experiences rather than rote memorization exercises. Building resilient communities through food security as global supply chains face increasing instability due to climate disruptions and geopolitical tensions, locally controlled food production emerges as a necessary insurance policy. Organic heritage gardens equip communities with alternative means of sustenance during crises when grocery store shelves may run empty. During the height of pandemic lockdowns, neighborhoods with established gardening traditions had ready access to nourishment while others struggled. Seeds saved from previous seasons ensured continued food availability despite travel restrictions impacting distribution channels. This preparedness demonstrated the strategic importance of decentralized agricultural models. Food security extends beyond immediate survival needs. Consistent access to fresh produce improves public health outcomes, particularly in underserved areas where nutritious options are scarce. Lower rates of diet-related illnesses reduce strain on medical resources, allowing emergency services to concentrate on critical care cases instead of preventable conditions. Communities engaged in food sovereignty initiatives also experience economic empowerment. Surpluses generated from well-managed organic gardens can be sold at local markets, generating income streams that support ongoing operations. This cyclical model of investment ensures sustainability beyond initial funding phases. Preservation of agricultural folklore and oral histories. Among the most precious assets protected by organic heritage initiatives are the oral histories carried by elderly gardeners. These include folklore surrounding particular plants, ritualistic practices in planting ceremonies, and mnemonic devices for remembering complex horticultural procedures. Digital archivists collaborating with community garden groups have begun documenting these intangible heritages through audio recordings and visual storytelling techniques. One notable project maps out variations in folk songs sung while working in fields, revealing fascinating differences between regions with shared migratory backgrounds. Linguists find special interest in collecting garden-related idioms and proverbs that encapsulate centuries of agrarian wisdom. Phrases describing plant behaviors or weather prediction methods often hold encoded scientific information waiting to be deciphered by future researchers. By giving formal recognition to these traditional knowledge systems, organic heritage initiatives validate the intelligence embedded in folkloric expressions. What might appear as simple sayings actually reflect sophisticated observations of ecological cycles honed through countless generations of direct experience with the land. Finding your place within the living tapestry. Whether you're a lifelong gardener or someone completely new to the idea, there's always room to grow within the world of organic heritage. Each person brings unique perspectives shaped by individual history, professional background, and personal aspirations. If your experience lies entirely outside agriculture, consider starting with simple tasks like helping sort donations or organizing educational materials. There's much value in administrative support and outreach efforts that connect gardening projects to wider audiences. Professionals from unrelated industries can apply transferable skills in project management, marketing, or design to enhance the visibility and effectiveness of these vital initiatives. Cross-disciplinary collaborations often lead to unexpected innovations benefiting both the gardens themselves and the broader environmental movement. No matter your level of involvement, participation in an organic heritage garden fosters meaningful connections to place, heritage, and fellow humans. It's more than just planting seeds, it's investing in a legacy that will continue bearing fruit long after we're gone. Conclusion: the revival of organic heritage gardening represents far more than a nostalgic attempt to recreate past agricultural landscapes. It embodies a proactive strategy for building resilient, interconnected communities grounded in shared values of sustainability and mutual respect. For those inspired by this vision, the invitation is clear: Join or start a community garden near you. Let us cultivate not only the soil beneath our feet but also the enduring relationships that will make our societies flourish for generations to come.